All right. Hi, everyone, and welcome to my channel, Maths Made Easy with Terry, 10 minutes. Now, we're going to talk about absolute values with complex inequalities. So just it's the same thing, but just this time, I'm going to be playing around. It could be greater than, it could be less than, it could be having absolute values on both sides of the equation, okay? All right, so let's say, for instance, I have a particular question where we have 1 minus 2x is less than or equal to x minus 3. All right. And we're told to solve this question, for instance. So what do you do? So the first thing you, as usual, remember the 5 rules. If you just watch the previous videos, and you see the 5 rules and the 5 steps. So the first thing that you have to equate the right-hand side to both positive and negative. So it's going to be 1 minus 2x, right? It's equal to minus x minus 3, and 1 minus 2x is equal to x minus 3. You simplify, okay? You open the brackets, it'll be 1 minus 2x is equal to minus x plus 3. Collect all the x together, so it's going to be x minus 2x is equal to 3 minus 1. And this will give you minus x is equal to 2, right? So therefore, x is going to be equal to minus 2. The same thing here. You take x to the other side, so it's going to be minus x minus 2x is equal to minus 3 minus 1, okay? And this will give you minus 3x is equal to minus 4. You divide both sides by minus 3. Then x is going to be equal to 4 over 3, okay? And that'll give you 4 over 3. All right, so now, but remember I told you if it's less than, for less than inequalities, if you watch the video, for less than inequalities, your answer must be in the form of minus a less than x less than a, right? You remember this. So that means for this now, it's going to be minus 2 less than x less than 4 over 3. And that will be the answer for that. And also, I also told you that you can also check to see if 0 is going to be part of a solution or if it works. So you can now check with x to be equal to 0. So it's going to be 1, right? Minus 2, okay? All 0. So basically where you see x, you put 0. Less than equal to 0 minus 3. And this will give you 1. Is less than equal to the absolute value of negative 3, right? So 1 is less than absolute value of negative 3 give you 3. So that means 0 what? Works. Okay? Since 1 is less than what? Negative 3. Also, you can also draw the graph for this. Okay, we have this is 0. This is going to be 4 over 3. And this is going to be what? Minus 2. And that will be the point for this. All right. All right, let me pick another example here and see whether we can solve that and see how it's going to work out. So the first one I have, let's take another example. So let's pick something that will be in the same line, but this time we'll be working with let's do greater than now. Let's solve the question on greater than. So it's going to be absolute values of 2x minus 3, okay? Let's say greater than x plus 1, okay? So the same principle, you equate both of them to both positive and negative. So it's going to be 2x minus 3 is equal to x plus 1, and 2x minus 3 is equal to minus x plus 1. Is that okay? Then it's going to give you, simplify, it'll be 2x, you take x to the other side, minus x is equal to 1 plus 3. So that'll give you x is equal to 4. Then the same thing, you open the bracket, it's going to be 2x minus 3 is equal to minus x minus 1. You take to the other side, it's going to be 2x plus x is equal to 3 minus 1. When you take minus 3 to the other side, it's going to be positive, so it's going to give you 3x. Does that make sense? Okay. And this is going to give you 2. So you now divide both sides by 3. And therefore, x is going to be equal to 2/3. Okay. So remember as well, when I explained greater than, if you please go and watch the video, I told you your answer should be for greater than, it's going to be x less than minus a, or x greater than a. All right. I talked about this. So that means here it's going to be x is less than. Remember, I told you that minus means the smallest number, while a is the highest number, the bigger of the two. So that means it's going to be x is less than 2/3, or we can say x is greater than what? 4. Then, in the same principle, you can check if 0 will be part of the solution. So we can now make a check with x to be equal to what? 0. So basically, anywhere you see 0 in the original equation, you put, anywhere you see x, you put 0. So it's going to give you 2 into bracket 0 minus 3 is greater than 0 plus 1. It's going to give you minus 3 greater than 1. Absolute value of minus 3 will give you 3 greater than 1. And because 3 is greater than 1, then you can say 0 what? Works. Okay, and then you can now plot the graph for this. So because you know 0 works, so you can now plot the graph, the same thing. This is 0, this is 2/3, and this is what? 4. So like we said, x is greater than 4, and x will be less than 2/3. And you can see that 0 is part of the solution for less than what? 2/3. All right, so let's pick another question, and let's take one more, or maybe we can take 2 in this video. Then in the next video, I'm going to solve more examples, okay? So let's say we have 3x minus 1 less than 2 minus x, okay? So it's going to give you 3x minus 1 is equal to 2 minus x. And you can also have 3x minus 1 is equal to minus 2 minus x. All right, so we take it to the other side. So it's going to be 3x plus x is equal to 2 plus 1. Okay, then give you 4x is equal to 3. Divide both sides by 4. Then x is going to be equal to 3/4. The same thing here. It's going to be 3x minus 1 is equal to minus 2 plus x. Take x to the other side, it's going to be 3x minus x is equal to minus 2 plus 1. It's going to give you 2x is equal to minus 1, divide both sides by 2. So x is going to be equal to minus half. Okay? All right, so now because x is minus half now, then we can then solve. Remember, one is less than. I told you as well, if it's less than, it should be minus a less than x less than a, okay? For less than, so it's gonna be minus half less than x less than what? 3/4. Okay? Then we can also check, is there going to be part of the solution here? So you can make x to be equal to 0. So you can check with x is equal to 0. So it's going to be 3, 0 minus 1 less than 2 minus 0. And I'll give you minus 1 is less than 2. Then 1 is less than 2. So as 1 is less than 2, definitely. So that means we can now say 0 what? Works here. So 1 is less than 2. Then if you want to draw it in a number line, the same thing. You have 0 here. You have minus 1/2, and you're going to have the 3/4 here. And this is going to be the path for the number line as well. All right, let's just pick one more example, then we'll call it a day. All right, let's just pick just one, and we'll solve more example in the next video. All right, let's say we have something like 2x plus 7 is less than or equal to 4x minus 3. So in this case now, what do? let's collect like terms first, okay? So what we can do, we can take -3 to the other side. So it's going to be 7 plus 3. And it will now be 4x minus 2x. And this is going to give you 10. It's less than or equal to 4x minus 2x will give you 2 with x. Can you see? Then what you do, what is the next thing to do? You divide both sides by what? 2. So that means 5 is less than or equal to absolute values of x. Now, if you want to swap this the other way around, so this can be written again as definitely x is now going to be greater than or equal to what? 5. And this is what we're going to solve now. So if it's greater or equal to 5, as usual, x will be equal to 5, and x will be equal to what? -5. So we can't do anything here, and that will be the answer for that. And because it's less than, the question was less than, so that means it will now be in the form of -a less than x less than a, right? So the answer is going to be, so because of the less than, so the answer is going to be -5 less than x less than 5. And that'll be the answer for that. And if you want to draw the graph as well, you can see, because we are having the point of x is greater than 5. So if you draw the graph here, let me use another pen. If you draw the graph as well, I've explained this concept earlier. So we have y will be equal to 5, and this point here is going to be 5, and this point here is going to be what? Minus what? 5. Okay, and because we are looking at less than, so that means for less than, we're looking below the curve. Less than, right? We're looking at less than. So for it to be less than, we're looking below the curve. So that means all these parts are part of the solutions. So this definitely will not be part of the solution. And that'll be that for that. All right. In the next video, I'm going to solve some more examples on this. All right. So I will advise, try as much as possible to solve more questions. The key here is that when you solve it, make sure that the one on the right-hand side, you equate it to both positive and negative. You simplify for x. When you simplify for x, you can check with x equal to 0 to see if 0 works in the inequalities. You can draw it in the number line. And in some cases, like we did here, you can also draw the graph. If you have any question, please let me know. And you can send me an email, or you can just put it in the chat box. All right. Thank you very much. And I will see you in the next video.